Welcome back, fans, to the ECHL Insider. I'm your host, Garrett Hunter, excited to recap a great week of hockey for you and then look ahead to this week's top 5 games of the week. We will start in the Mountain Division, where it was the Allen Americans opening up their season with 2 weekend games against the Mavericks, and they came out on home ice with a thud, losing 4-0 on Friday night and 9-0 on Saturday night to the Mavericks. Got to give the Mavericks a lot of credit, but for the Americans, they're shaking their heads right now. They don't know what has started so far this season. They are off to an 0-3 start, losing all 3 of those games by 4 goals or more. So they have been blown out in their first 3 games. They look to get back on track this week, but for the Mavericks, they just keep on rolling from where they were last year with the Brabham Cup. They pick up from that regular season success, already 4-0 on the season. And the Wichita Thunder played 2 thrilling games against the Tulsa Oilers this weekend. Friday night, they trailed the Oilers 3-2 with a minute left in the game before they would tie it up, turn out the lights, and the crowd stands up in Wichita. Tie game before the overtime winner in Intrust Bank Arena for the come-from-behind 4-3 overtime win for Wichita. They would follow that up on Saturday with a 6-2 win in Tulsa in the BOK Center. So a great weekend overall for the Wichita Thunder. And also it was banner night on Friday in Estero for the Everblades and Gladiators. Everblades celebrating a three-peat, 3 straight Kelly Cup victories for them, and they backed it up on Friday night. They sent the fans home with the banner hung and a win in the pocket with a 3-1 win on Friday night, but it only gets better from there. A 6-0 dismantling of the Atlanta Gladiators on Saturday night by the Florida Everblades. And finally, can't forget to talk about the Tahoe Night Monsters' first win in franchise history, a 3-1 win over the Jacksonville Icemen on Friday. And on Thursday, the first ever win in franchise history for the Bloomington Bison. They got a 4-2 win over the Iowa Heartlanders. Well, let's get you now to this week's top 5 games. Lot of great matchups this week, so we will start at the top, going back out west to Tahoe, where the Idaho Steelheads and Tahoe Night Monsters will have a 3-game series Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from Tahoe Blues Center again. So I'm really excited when I think about this matchup. Tahoe, right, they come off a great week where they picked up points in both their first games, an overtime loss to Jacksonville and then a 3-1 win to Jacksonville. So they come in, happy, excited about, hey, the season started off pretty well. They have 3 more home games, right, before you go out on the road for the first time ever. So exciting in that sense, but boy, do you have a big opponent this week in Idaho. They're through and through a very good team. We've talked about them a lot, and they come off winning 2 out of 3 against Toledo. So a lot of momentum for Idaho they come into Tahoe with, so should be a very interesting matchup. And we'll stay in the Western Conference at number 4 with the Cincinnati Cyclones and Toledo Walleye renewing their rivalry on Saturday night. Big story in this game is defenseman for the Walleye, Jalen Smerek. He was a longtime defenseman for the Cincinnati Cyclones, now plays in the Walleye jersey. So just big, right? For him especially, he goes out there in a heated rivalry game, right, and sees his old team on the other side. And for Cincinnati, all those players that played with him for so many years, they're going to be on the other side, right, of Jalen Smerek, who is just a great defenseman in this league. So big story, the Jalen Smerek reuniting with his old team here, as he will be on the other bench, though, this time in the heated Ohio rivalry. And at number 3, the Worcester Railers and Norfolk Admirals will renew pleasantries for the first time this year on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday from the Norfolk Scope. These 2 teams haven't been in the same division for several years yet together, with Norfolk recently joining the North Division only a few years ago. But boy, have they played a lot of great games over these past 2 seasons. And I think Norfolk, making the playoffs last year, a lot of that was because, hey, they were able to get wins when they needed it against this Worcester team. So they will look to continue that this season. And it starts with 3 games at home, right? You gotta establish your dominance at home. So many coaches, so many players talk about that these days. Big opportunity, right? Early in the season, you got 3 straight at home. Gotta win at least 2 out of 3 if you are a Norfolk Admirals fan. And at number 2, the Fort Wayne Komets head to Kansas City to take on the red-hot Kansas City Mavericks. Fort Wayne 3-1 to start the year. Mavericks off to a great 4-0 start. We talked about their dominance in Allen last week, so really looking forward to this matchup. Fort Wayne, they've got some good wins early, and then Kansas City, all they've done is dominate, right? In 2 games against Wichita, 2 games against Allen down, and they have looked fantastic. So look to keep that going against a very good Fort Wayne team. I think you look in this matchup, Kansas City, they want to just keep rolling, right? They want to win these 2 games, get to 6-0, but they got to be careful. You can't overlook this Fort Wayne team. I see the Komets as a team that flies under the radar this season and is a good team that is kind of overlooked so far. I think they're a very good team and could be a threat to handing the Mavericks their first loss, but we'll see. Very good matchup this weekend between the Komets and Mavericks. And our top game of the week in the South Division, the Florida Everblades and the South Carolina Stingrays. Historically, 2 of the best in the South Division go head-to-head Friday and Saturday. Everblades a perfect 3-0 to start the season. Stingrays 2-1. And both these teams, right, they know the matchup, the rivalry between these 2 that goes back so many years. All the big matchups, the playoff series that have happened in the past between these 2 teams, they know what this means. And early in the season, you wanna make the other team fear you, right? You wanna establish, slide that first loss in their pocket, right, in the series, so they remember that going forward in the season. Obviously, a division opponent, they'll see each other several more times as the year progresses. So Florida and South Carolina, they will definitely get into it head-to-head this weekend. Should be a really great matchup to see on back-to-back nights. And when these 2 teams get together, it gets a little bit scrappy. So, if you go for that intermission snack, just might want to hang around for a few minutes to see if you see a fight at the end of a period or something between these 2 teams. It should be very interesting. Well, now make sure to check out our Fight of the Week. Another great scrap for you to check out. And after you watch it, make sure to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, so you get an alert every time we drop a new video every week. And we will see you next week for another update and a look around the league at the top 5 games.
All the way down for an icing. Oh, when he throws a hit late, he's been given a penalty. A silly moment from Nico Blatchman. He throws a check after an icing, and now we get a lot of extra. Oh, Yeman's pounding his man. Here comes some more shoving. A silly penalty against Nico. He threw a hit about 3 seconds after an icing, and oh, there's more of a Donnybrook. Yeman's exchanging punches. This might be called a fight. He was battering Sahil Panwar in the face. Now they're separated, and still more shoving in the corner. Hemstrom is in a headlock with Setene Hadobas. His bucket's been removed. Heartlanders on the penalty kill for at least 2 minutes, if not more. Oh, Hadobas fighting. Oh, a fight at center ice. The play wasn't even started. These players are going to be kicked out. Hadobas and Leopard. First fight for Zeteni. He's going against Jackson Leopard. Huge collision with the right from Hadobas. Leopard, a more experienced player in this league. These guys are going to be kicked out, fighting before the whistle. Hadobas taking rights, trying to square up against Leopard. Leopard another right. Hadobas had the early advantage, trying to tug. Gives a hard left once and twice to Leopard, and a couple more punches at center ice here. This is a long bout, and now the linesmen jump in. Well, These teams might just be becoming rivals in the second game ever.